Do you have any questions before we get started, or?
How did we get connected?
How did we get connected?
You got through somebody at CONSENSYS.
Yeah, I was just chatting with folks at CONSENSYS, and they started sending me a list of people that they thought I should interview.
Cool.
You know, I'm happy that you brought up Bitcoin, because CONSENSYS is all about Ethereum. Now, I know there's Bitcoins and there's altcoins. Is Ethereum a Bitcoin or an altcoin?
I might take a little bit of issue with the bifurcation of Bitcoin and altcoin, but so one could imagine a software object that has money, and therefore humans are willing to interact with it because they want its money or they want its service or whatever, but there's not actually a human in charge of it. Literally an Uber-like car that you call up, that literally no human being owns or controls. Instead, it's an autonomous car driving around, paying for electricity if it's an electric car. There really doesn't need to be a human at all in the loop. And blockchain allows us to create something that has the ability to administrate itself in that way without a human being involved, because it can use money without banks or lawyers or anything that needs a human. I think blockchain could very well be the substrate on which lots of things become life forms.
So you're kind of saying that, you know, Bitcoin is like $1, whereas Ethereum is like a website.
I think that's a reasonable analogy.
Okay.
I would say...
or Ethereum is a bank, and Bitcoin is like a dollar.
I think that's also a good analogy.
Okay.
I would say it's sort of like Bitcoin is like PayPal and Ethereum is like Amazon Web Services.
Oh, okay. So it's like Bitcoin is kind of like the car, and then Ethereum is kind of like the road.
I don't know if I'd quite use that. I would say so.
I'm just trying to figure it out here.
Infrastructure versus an application. Ethereum is like AWS, and you can run any application you want on top of it. So, does that make sense? So Ethereum is like a platform.
Okay. So Ethereum's kind of more like I'm not great with metaphors here, Bring. I feel like
let's put
it's kind of like it's like a tube, and then like Bitcoin is more kind of like a coin that goes through the tube.
Sure. I think that's a reasonable analogy. Or you could say Bitcoin is like
gumball machine.
Bitcoin is like a calculator.
Okay.
It keeps track of sort of a set of numbers.
Okay.
And Ethereum is like a computer. You can write all kinds of complicated stuff on it that does anything you can imagine and write down in code.
So Bitcoin's like a calculator that's made out of computers.
Yeah.
Then.
But it seems like you're doing some really cool stuff. How many people are involved in CONSENSYS? How big is it?
Our employee count is around 1,100 right now. When you say involved, there are a lot more people than that involved.
So you've gone from 0 to 1,100 in 4 years. Pretty steep trajectory. Congratulations. How were you able to do that? How do these things find ways to ultimately generating money that can pay for these people's coffee?
Sure. Well, there are a lot of different answers to that. Our business model is to make things that have business models. So while CONSENSYS itself is self-funded, many of these companies have gone on to do token launches. Actually, I think we've done the most token launches of any particular entity. At least that was true at some point. I think it's still true. So our business model is to retain equity and tokens in those things that we build. Us having money to run our business is contingent upon us doing essentially intelligent treasury management, very new, groundbreaking, decentralized business models that involve issuing a token and having a foundation that sits alongside the token, and the founders of it own some of the token, and their incentive is to make that thing more valuable. But it's not a traditional business model at all. That thing is never going to IPO. In fact, it can't legally.
Back to Ethereum's truck and Bitcoin's kind of like a car. When will Ethereum get on the blockchain?
Ethereum is a type of blockchain, right? So it's sort of like when is this thing going to get on the computer? When are banks going to be
Sure.
computerized?
Computerized. So blockchainized
Right.
in a way. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll have to forgive Tim. He's more of the marketer of our team.
In a way, if I'm understanding it correctly, it's kind of like, you said Google has a bunch of servers or Facebook has a bunch of servers, but Ethereum is kind of the server all over the world. Is that right?
Sure.
What draws you to Ethereum other than, say, I don't know, Litecoin or Namecoin or Swiftcoin or Bytecoin or Peercoin?
There are a lot of them. It opens up the global financial system. It removes the barbarians at the gate, makes it much more inclusive. And frankly, I like billions more people innovating and participating in the economy. I'm not a 17-year-old in Kenya. What Hayek would say is that the more you have competition among currencies, then you end up with a lot more innovation. For the first time, a normal person or a really smart kid in a garage or a kid in Kenya that has a laptop or whatever can sit down, write down the tenets of monetary policy, have that thing be a successful currency if it's fit to be, just like any startup needs to be fit to compete in its market.
Like you said, somebody in Kenya has equal access to this technology and equal ability to innovate to somebody here, with a Stanford degree, somebody with rich parents, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the point, is removing that monopoly, because it's a really powerful tool. It's one of the ways that governments control their economy. It's one of the ways that they exert power in the world, just because of the nature of the way blockchain works. And suddenly, I need a lot less lawyers, and I need a lot less court systems, and I need a lot less police. I think something that could add efficiency to our economy, as well as add more peacefulness to our economy in a way, in a very big picture. And
Very
hopefully that
easy.
makes our economy just function better and more cheaply, and makes everyone wealthier and happier. Almost like a neurotransmitter, like dopamine makes you happy or serotonin makes you happy. Money is almost like an externalized neurotransmitter. It's probably the thing that controls human behavior at large more than any other thing. I realized that I had no idea how the financial system worked. Okay, cool. Well, if you want to talk about blockchain anymore sometime,
Yeah, we'll definitely give you a call.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Do you need us to help you get out, or?
I can walk him out.
Okay, thanks,
All right,
Dalton.
great.
Oh boy. That made you laugh a little bit there.